Okay, we got sound. Follow me. Yay! Is it in focus? Am I in focus? Please can you check if I'm in focus? Is it in focus? On me?
Yes.
Focus.
100%.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Don't worry. Today I've got assistants shooting the show. What up, everybody? I'm Brian Willis. Nah, that's not how we start. How do I start? It's difficult to start this thing when I'm by myself, because usually there's some goof who does some goofy stuff. Then we do this. Then we start. But anyway, I need to psych myself up. Got the marks on the ground. Got people in the background. If a security guard comes and asks me questions, just pretend that nothing is happening, okay? Because I don't think we're supposed to be shooting here. But anyway, you know how these security guards are. They always want to give themselves more authority than they actually have. He doesn't even have a gun. He's got pepper spray. Anyway, moving on. Why am I nervous? Are we in focus? Okay, let me start. Yeah. Okay. Woo! I'm ready now. Let's do this. What up, everybody? I'm Brian Willis, and welcome to another episode of glovesoffzw. First off, thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. If you haven't subscribed, you know what to do. Subscribe, set the little alarm, get notifications, right? And we got t-shirts for sales, 15 bucks a pop. You know the story. If you're new, they're 15 bucks a pop. Just let us know what your size is, what color you like, and the design that you like as well. We got new designs coming in at the end of the month. That'll be season 2 of the Gloves Off apparel, and hopefully they should match up with some Valentine's theme or something like that. Hopefully. And if you got some advertising that you'd like to do with us, the email should be scrolling across the screen and blah blah blah. You know the story. Or our contact details will be in the description below, or you can check us out on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Gmail, and on YouTube. But hopefully you're on YouTube right now, right? Good. Now, what's been happening this week? So the Danny J show recently had another episode, their first episode of 2024. Wake up, Danny J. This is our third episode of 2024, and you're only doing your first episode. Like, what's going on? Why are you slacking? But anyway, it was a big episode nonetheless, because they had none other than Holyten on the show. Holyten had a lot to say. And the dude has been busy despite all the beefs, which I'm going to touch on in a bit. The guy has been busy. He has been promoting a lot of artists. He has been shooting a lot of videos, and he has been busy with his wife. He actually let us know in the episode with Danny J, where he said he was doing stuff with his wife that he doesn't want to get into, the details of which he doesn't want to get into. So dude has been quite busy, and he won Artist of the Year last year. He got an award, and Danny J actually gave him 500 bucks on the show for that. So shout out to Holyten. So obviously we all know if Holyten is on an episode of anything, he's gonna make a lot of controversial comments, which is what I'm going to get into right now. If these bloody buggers behind me would stop making the noise that they're making with their rubbish music. Why do I sound like a reporter from CNBC? Anyway, I'm going to be speaking on the highlights that made the Holyten interview. And one of the major highlights was his beef with Winky D. Holyten made it clear that his intentions are to finish Winky D. He sent Winky D a message. He says Winky D saw the message, and he says he told Winky D to read this message 300 times, which translates to, I want to finish you. Is this a good thing or a bad thing? I really don't know, because in all honesty, I don't know what really happened between Holyten and Winky D, but it seems quite serious. Now, we all know that Winky D is a favorite of many in Zimbabwe, but it will be rather careless to make assumptions at this point and assume that Winky D is the innocent party just because he doesn't respond to the allegations, and Holyten is the young one and a bit maybe immature with the way he's handling the situation, makes him the wrong person. It makes it a bit tricky for us to say Winky D is right, Holyten is wrong. It feels like it's something that's a bit personal between the two of them that maybe more needs to be put into light before some of us can make actual comments. I mean, as we all know, Winky D himself wasn't really a nice guy back in the day. If you remember 10 years ago, when Tinopona Katsande leaked her sex tape, or her sex tape, no, she didn't leak it, her sex tape leaked, and she reminded us recently that Winky D actually did a freestyle of some sort where he speaks about the sex tape, saying that she was inactive and it was boring, it was 4 minutes of boredom, he wasted his data and blah blah blah. So, and there's also some artists who have actually said stuff about Winky D that isn't flattering, and Winky D never responds to any of these things. So it's very difficult for us to make an assumption or to make a judgment because we do not have all the cards. So it's difficult to say Holyten is wrong. It's difficult to say he's right. It's difficult to say Gafa is innocent or Gafa is guilty, because Holyten is not the only artist that has accused him of foul play. The only evidence that we have of the foul play that Winky D has done was with Tinopona Katsande, which I mentioned before. All the other accusations, he just kept them quiet and kept them to themselves and left the people, complaining in a circle. So it gets it a bit tricky. So what I would like to maybe encourage Winky D to do is maybe address some of these issues, because Winky D, yeah, he does address his issues in the music, but I think he needs to address it in a platform that is a bit, off the cuff. Because with music you've got enough time to do your practice, to do your lines, and it's easy to make things fit your context. So maybe he needs to address these issues on a platform that fits the narrative that he was accused by these other artists, because these artists accused him on various podcasts where they're speaking, not necessarily in song. Holyten accused him on podcasts. We've got other artists that have accused them on other podcasts, which I'll be listing over there. So maybe Winky D needs to address these issues in a podcast format where it's off the cuff and we can see from his reactions without any preparation whether we can make a judgment or an assumption whether it's true or false that these accusations exist, or if he's a good guy or a bad guy. And then on the other side of things, I really think Holyten now needs to chill with these beefs, because he's got beef with Volts JT, he's got beef with Michael Maggs, and based on what he said on that episode of Danny J Show, he's got beef with Nutty O as well. So he's kind of like proving to be a bit of a common denominator where all of this is concerned, which is a bit worrisome, and I think he needs to take it a bit, slow with the beefs and just work on his projects, because in all honesty he's now proving to be too much of a common denominator where these beefs are concerned. So I don't know, maybe if Holyten listens to this podcast, chill, okay? You have been busy. Congratulations on the family, congratulations on the boys, congratulations on the fact that you are paying maintenance on your other kid. Well done for that. But where these beefs are concerned, I think now, like you said in the podcast, as a father, you can't be seen being involved in some of these petty beefs that you're being involved in. You now need to involve yourself in more serious things that build your family, because your family should be the major concern. Now, these things whereby you're just out there trying to go after these big artists like Winky D, I think you need to chill and maybe use another strategy than the strategy that you're using right now, where he sees you coming from a mile away and giving responses like, unoda upedza Gafa, yosna upedza chikoro. Loosely translated means you want to finish Winky D when you didn't finish your school. I think a more tactical approach would be to move in silence. Real G's move in silence like lasagna. Ask Lil Wayne. Moving on to international news. So there has been this craze amongst the millionaires and the billionaires and probably the trillionaires, whereby they are building underground bunkers, mostly in Hawaii, which is a bit scary to some of us, because most of these rich guys, as you all know, usually know things that we only tend to find out 10 or 15 to 20 years later. So the question now is, why are all these millionaires and billionaires building bunkers in Hawaii? Now, as you all know, there were some fires that happened in Hawaii where it was quite tragic, and 98 people died, if I'm not mistaken, and about 8,000 were displaced from their homes. But while these fires were happening, and before any of the fires were put out, residents reported having calls from property developers asking to buy their land, and some of these billionaires actually started a relief fund whereby they'll be helping these residents. Now, a lot of these residents were not really happy with the fact that while these fires are happening, these guys want to buy their land. A lot of eyebrows were raised. In fact, a lot of other fishy things happened during the course of these fires, and one of them is also the fact that Hawaii has one of the most advanced natural disaster detecting systems in the world, but it did not detect these fires, which a lot of people were asking why, but answers were not given. And then also, while these fires were happening, when people were trying to evacuate the dangerous areas and stuff, there were a lot of empty cars in the roads blocking these people from leaving, which raises even more questions. And the person who was in charge of investigating these fires was the same person who was investigating the Las Vegas shooting. I don't know if you guys have heard of the Las Vegas shooting that happened some years back, but this guy managed to get into a hotel with a lot of ammunition and managed to get a proper vantage point before he let bullets fly at some concert or event that was taking place down below. And for those of you that love Eminem, y'all would know that Eminem sang about this in the song Darkness, which was off of his album Music to Be Murdered By. Eminem is my favorite rapper, by the way. But yeah, that was one of the fishy things that was happening, that it's the same guy that's investigating these two things. How he managed to get from Las Vegas to Hawaii jurisdiction-wise, I have no idea. In fact, if you look at it closely, it kind of feels like Elysium. If you've watched Elysium or Battlestar Galactica, where the common folk are left in like a, you know, a dystopian environment, or environment where some natural disaster has happened and things are just crushing while they've built themselves some other place to live in and lavish in their riches and stuff like that. If you've watched those movies, then you know what I'm talking about. But now the question is, what are these billionaires preparing for? Is it going to be a nuclear holocaust? Because if any of these guys from China, America, Russia, England, France decide a nuclear war, then we are gonna be in a lot of trouble, because once a nuke goes off, there's going to be a cloud above some atmosphere where there's no wind, meaning there's going to be a nuclear winter, there's going to be no food, there's going to be darkness, it's going to be cold, there's going to be radiation for those of you that survive. Or are they preparing for some sort of natural disaster that we don't know about? The thing is, there are just way too many of these billionaires that are doing this. Let me just give you a list of the guys that are doing this, just to give you an idea. We got Mark Zuckerberg, who spent $100 million for an estate in Hawaii way back in 2014. We got Mark Ellison, who owns an entire island. Peter Thiel has a $27 million property on an island in Hawaii. The ousted CEO of Yahoo also owns some property in Hawaii. Michael Dell, the CEO of Dell Computers, also owns property that is called the Raptor Ranch or something like that in Hawaii. And then you got Larry Ellison, the CEO of Oracle, who is suspected to have bought something along the lines of $300 million to $600 million on an island, a whole island in Hawaii. So if this hasn't got you thinking, I don't know what will. Larry Ellison actually bought this property like way back in 2012. So these guys have been doing this for quite a long time, which is quite scary. Anyway, moving on to movie of the week, or my movie recommendation. We got Kevin Hart in the action heist movie Lift. There's a lot of polarized opinions on this movie. Some people are calling it a 10 out of 10. Some people are calling it crap. It's a Netflix flick. I, however, believe that it's nothing special. It's nothing new. It's been done before. It feels exactly like Red Notice or every other movie that Netflix has given us. The only thing is, it's got Kevin Hart now. And I think Kevin Hart was the major problem in this whole movie, because as much as the movie storyline is okay, cliche, but okay, or even the dialogue, the one-liners, it's all okay. There's nothing above average about the movie. The only problem that I have with the movie is Kevin Hart trying to be a sexy, broody heist master. It just doesn't work for somebody with the height of a person that can do a high jump under a door. Doesn't work. Kevin Hart was bad casting for this movie. That's what I think. In fact, I gave it a 4.1 out of 10 on Facebook. It's ridiculous. It's a ridiculous movie because of Kevin Hart. But the movie itself is okay. Just in place of Kevin Hart, just picture, I don't know, George Clooney or Ryan Gosling or something like that. Then it would work. I mean, he can be believable when it comes to being, a broody male. I mean, I'm sure the ladies will agree. It's hard to take Kevin Hart serious. I'm not lying. Tell me if I'm lying. I gave it a 4.1 out of 10. That was Brian Willis Movie Reviews. Check them out. Link in the description below. They're on Facebook, by the way. Yeah. Moving on, we got Song of the Week, and the song is called Hurungwe, and the song is by OCD, and it features Nyasha David, he was on the hook, Kae Chaps, Kikky Bad, Lain, and Karville. Is it Karville or Karville? I don't know. This is a banger of a song. I think it's going to do the rounds if they market it properly. It had a visualizer, but it looked like an actual video, but they're calling it a visualizer. I'm having a difficult time trying to differentiate what the difference is between a visualizer and an actual video when it comes to some of these Zimbabwean artists, because some of the videos, they look like actual videos. Nyasha David did his thing on the hook. Kae Chaps was immaculate on the bars as usual. Like he said, he's living up to his threat on the Gore remix, where he said most of these rappers are going to be on my menu. He's now rapping, so I don't know if he's going to be doing a Drake. I don't know, but he's rapping and singing at the same time, and he's bringing quite heavy bars into the game. Then we got Kikky Bad. I think this has to be one of the hardest working females in Zim hip hop. She is consistent. As much as people want to say all she does is bring a butt to the game, yeah, she does do that, but she also brings her lyrics, she also brings her work ethic. You cannot say Kikky's lazy. You cannot say Kikky just gets everything handed to her on a silver platter. She is working. Her bars were actually quite heavy on this track. She was also on the Gore remix with Kae Chaps. Then we had Lain. I was so happy to see another female in the game. This is my first time hearing Lain. I don't know if she's been in any other projects. If she's got other projects that she's been on, please feel free to share them with me. I'd love to see some of her work. What I was disappointed by with Lain was the fact that she only spat 4 bars. 4 bars. That was it. And the bars were quite heavy. Although one of them was a bit insensitive because she says she's got like a blast like Osama bin Laden. It's a heavy bar, but I mean, people that got affected by those blasts, you know, I don't think they'll be very happy with that, but she was good nonetheless. Then we got Karville. He was good. He was at the end. Everybody stood their game. OCD, the main guy, he spat heavy bars. In fact, I loved his bars the most. Well done for that, OCD. Well done for featuring all those people and refusing to be bodied on the track, because locally featuring all those people is the international equivalent of featuring Eminem on your song. Once Eminem features on your song, it's no longer your song. So yeah, so anyway, that was it for Song of the Week, and that also marks the end of today's episode of glovesoffzw. Like I said, if you got any business that you'd like to do with us, if you got any products that you'd like to push, the email is right down below. You can catch us on Facebook. You can email us. We can send you our rates. T-shirts, $15 a pop. And yeah, you know the story. You know how to reach us. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, I have no idea what you're waiting for. But that's it for today's episode. I'm Brian Willis, no relation to Bruce, and I'm out. I can't do that thing because that's Nivek's thing. I can't steal that from him.